Hi guys, welcome to Behind the Lens with Yolanda Hill Photography. Today we have two special guests from Lessing Company with the Crane Club, Pelican, and the Kravis Center. We have Michele and we have Maureen who are going to give us a little more insight of all these venues and what they have to offer for you guys, okay? So today we're going to start with learning a little bit about how they got started in the business. So we'll start with Michele, and you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up being the manager at all these three venues.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
excited to be here. So my story, I mean, I don't know how long I really should talk, but
As long as you need. Go for it.
I think it's actually funny because I just went to school for business, and I think it was just always inherently inside of me. I tell the story that I went to job fairs and didn't like any of the jobs that they had there. And I remember calling my mom being so upset because I was like, I don't like these jobs. I was like, I want to be the one who put this job fair together. So that's kind of what made me
So you
realize,
already had that boss in you.
Yeah. So I realized that that's when I wanted to like plan events, essentially. I didn't even know that that was a thing, believe it or not. And then after, like during college, I worked at a golf course that I slowly made my way into the catering manager role at an early age, like 21, 22.
Nice.
And I think it's also funny not having any event planning experience, and here I am planning these people's weddings.
Isn't that funny how life throws at you stuff
Yeah.
like that? Because like, my last podcast with my team and everything, I told them like I would never do a wedding, and like, life just kind of directs you into something that you weren't planning for.
Exactly.
And here you are.
Yeah, it was just natural.
Yeah.
So through there, I kind of worked my way through operations. I worked for Hyatt for 13 years, and then in California. I had an opportunity to do some traveling with Hyatt that took me out of California, that brought me back to the East Coast. I'm originally from New Jersey. It brought me back to the East Coast, and about 6 years ago, I made my way down here to Florida, actually working for a different company, and then COVID happened, as we all know.
COVID.
Lovely COVID. However, I will say, unfortunately for everyone else, COVID was actually a blessing for me because I was furloughed from my one job, and then I was recruited by Lessings. They were looking for a new general manager at Pelican Club, and that was a little over 3 years ago, and I've been with Lessings ever since, and as we'll probably continue talking, I'm assuming, but they have completely exploded down in South Florida. So I've just been very lucky to kind of be on that path with them as they add new venues and new ventures.
I am lucky to be part of this as well because I am one of their preferred vendors. So very excited to hear, all the growth in South Florida.
It's very exciting. There's more to come too.
Good.
So.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So a little bit about your background, Maureen, and how you got into it and how you ended up at the awesome Crane Club in Port Saint Lucie.
Oh, it was a magical story. So I started in the industry when I was 16, cooking, actually, and I ended up going to culinary school in Manhattan. So my expertise really comes from the back of the house, and then just coincidentally, I took a restaurant management course that Cornell was hosting at my school, and that's how I ended up in the front of the house. So at 18, I ended up in a banquet office, and meanwhile, I didn't even have a ninth grade education, honestly. But I'm planning people's events and weddings, and it was pretty funny. I just kind of stumbled into it. But I always loved theater as a kid.
Yeah.
And what I do really allows me to kind of utilize those skills and connect with my audience. I've always loved doing what I do. It's just very natural for me.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to be a people person.
Definitely a people person. Like, and anything in this industry, I think it's very important to be a people person. It's just not going to be very good. Yeah, personality is huge, and knowing how to like deal with different, people and cultures and, personalities. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for that word. It's just not coming out, but personalities, huge thing. So especially for you girls, because you are the first one, I guess, that especially you because you're like sales. So she's a sales manager at the Crane Club. So everybody meets Maureen first, right?
Yeah.
And you're the one that brings them in, or
The relationship.
yeah, the relationship.
Yeah.
And
people's minds at ease.
yes.
And them knowing that they're going to have a guide throughout, a shoulder to cry on or support.
Yeah.
I always stress that with that. I'm here to support you and help you in your decision making, and I think that translates.
Yeah, I mean, if I was getting married, I think the person that is that I go to a venue and I'm very excited about this venue, and then if I meet this person and I feel like she's not very nice or has a bad attitude, that would be scare me off, and I would probably not go there. So that's important to have somebody that, and I can tell you, Maureen is awesome. She's super sweet. I love working with her. So if you are looking for somewhere, these two girls are awesome. So I want to get into a little bit about what makes each venue a little unique, and if any, anything that you want to tell, our viewers or brides and grooms that are looking for venues in our area. So we'll start with you and just tell us a little bit of we'll start with the Pelican.
Okay. Yeah, so Pelican Club, if most people don't know about Pelican Club already, it's located in Jupiter, right on the Intercoastal, across from the lighthouse. So that's going to be our signature. Anybody in general, I think there's a lot of people that love the water, and everyone wants to be, most brides, you'll hear, oh, I want to get married on the beach. So a lot of the times the brides, they want something with water.
Yep.
So the fact that we have the ability to have a waterfront venue with the lighthouse view,
Magical.
It's amazing
Magical.
that Lessing's got that location.
Yeah.
It really is.
And then if you look over to the left side, as the sun sets, you get these beautiful sunsets. So that also is a plus. At least that's what I really like.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So that's our biggest thing. And also the fact that when they built the place, they actually were very aware of having the outdoor option that you could still be protected by the weather. So if you do have your ceremony or your cocktail reception outside, we have a fully covered deck so that you still have that indoor-outdoor feel, and you don't have to worry about a weather backup. Because I come from the hotel business, and usually when you have an outdoor venue, you have to have an indoor backup.
Yes.
So with this being a single room, essentially, venue, there is no indoor backup. So having that covered terrace is key.
It's key.
Yeah.
Very nice. And it's very pretty.
Yes.
And again, the views are amazing.
Yes.
So inside the actual venue, what do they have in there? I've been in there, but I want you to tell them what they have. If brides have their own place, or the guys, or
So the other thing about Pelican Club is we really do sell on exclusivity. So that's another thing that the brides love.
I do love that. I worked at places sometimes where it's not like that, and it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
So that's very nice to have.
Yeah, being able to show up and know that essentially the place is all yours for the entire day. Again, the guests arrive. We have this beautiful courtyard that's all turf, so it's also good for the girls' heels. So
Yes.
always thinking of things like that. We do welcome beverages in the courtyard, a lot of first looks, a lot of the photography takes, bridal
On the
party
front,
photos.
yes.
So we have a great entrance, a great, sense of arrival. And then coming inside, they decorated it and made it feel like a home. They wanted it to feel very comfortable. So coming into the living room area, then you have the two suites. So the bride and groom do have their own suites to get ready in.
And they're very nice. And I love the bridal suite. It's very spacious, so it's not small, which I know I've worked at places where it's super tiny, and we have 20 people in there, and it's not like that. It's very spacious. There's plenty of room.
Yep.
Very
nice.
nice.
A whole wall full of mirrors, and then a huge couch. Yeah, so you have a huge bridal party. There's also a bathroom inside each one, so you have your own private bathroom. We also provide a bridal attendant. So the bridal attendant is with them from the moment they come on property until the moment they leave. So that bridal attendant is there helping get anything that they need. And she's also key when, especially as taking photos.
Yes, they're with us and helping in anything.
Yeah.
I have my team for the most part, but sometimes, they're doing other things or helping me with my lights and stuff. And, they're very nice to help with the dress, which is awesome.
Yep.
For,
Sometimes
it's a
they do
teamwork
that veil
with
shot,
everything.
yeah.
So I agree.
Exactly. And then, we have the ballroom itself is 7,000 square feet. And so we have the ability to do an indoor ceremony and then flip for the full reception as people go outside for cocktail. But if you do an outside ceremony, same thing. We still have the ability to keep the room private, so you still have that room reveal when it comes time to invite the guests in.
And it's a great location as far as also a lot. I know this because the last wedding I did there, they went to the after party right next door.
Yep.
So they all just walked over there, and then later they got a shuttle and they went to their hotel or wherever they were staying. But that's really nice too. A lot of people are not done when
Exactly.
10 or 11 o'clock wedding ends. They're still wanting to go, and boom, right next door we have all these other things that they can go to.
Yep.
So that's another plus if you're looking for after party stuff.
Yeah, the restaurant's at Love Street.
Yes, there
Yep.
you go. So we're going to go back to the other venue, but I'm going to go
Yes.
to Maureen now. And we're going to put her in the hot spot, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the Crane Club, which, I work there a lot, and I love it, and there's so much photo op there.
Yeah, it's really unique. It reminds me of like a mixture of Tuscan, Italian, Spanish, just this castle.
Basically, that's what I look at it. It's like a big castle.
You drive up to it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And it's
Like when I
just
first walked in, like when I first drove in, I was like, my like eyes were like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
all the possibilities.
Yeah, it's a photographer's dream.
Yeah.
Everyone who shoots there is just, I mean, you could be there for a month and not take pictures everywhere.
So on Friday's wedding, I'm very excited to post this one, by the way, and I don't know if anybody has done this one yet, so I'm very excited, I think. Went down the stairs to the left, and there's like this path through the courtyard or the golf area on the left, and I got some really nice photos there with the sunset in the back, so I'm very excited to post these because I'm like, I haven't hit that part of the venue, so that was
Discovering new
something different.
places,
Yeah,
yeah.
discovering new places.
Yep.
So that'll be coming up soon,
Great.
posting. But go ahead, continue.
I mean, just the possibilities are really endless, just given the amount of space. You walk in, there's 2 beautiful fountains on, gorgeous furnishings. I mean, it's not cold. A lot of these larger venues you can walk into and feel very like it's not you.
No, it's
But
very, like,
comfortable.
yeah, very
our design
homey.
team is fantastic.
Yeah, it's
at what they
beautiful.
do.
It's got 3 stories, and let me tell you how many times I get lost. Now I finally have figured it out, like where the bridal suite is and vice versa, because I was going up and down these elevators like the first 2 times that I worked there, and I was like, where's this bridal suite? But now I got it. I understand where it is. Packed down, but
You can't even call it a bridal suite. It's a bridal wing.
it is huge.
It is enormous.
I think it's the
bigger.
biggest one in our company.
Yeah, it's
by far.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it in there. It's very spacious. Like we talked about Pelican having space, but the Crane definitely is.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's probably 800, 900 square feet, if
Probably
not more.
Cathedral, dome ceiling.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
gorgeous.
It's like something out of a Disney hotel, honestly. That's what it reminds me of. The
Sounds like a land
architecture. It's
station.
just-
Yeah.
it's
So the good
insane.
thing about telling you guys a little bit about, the Crane Club is that I am actually going to do a walkthrough with Maureen coming up soon. So this will be coming up on my channel. So if you're, wondering what we're talking about, tune in because that's coming in shortly after I post this podcast. Yeah.
As far as the ballroom goes, so it's kind of a nice elevation. You start off in the lobby. You're going to go to the 2nd floor for your ceremony and cocktail hour. We have a beautiful outside terrace, but we do have an indoor room in case it rains.
Yep.
The cocktail hour bar is one of my favorite bars I've ever seen.
Me too.
It's gigantic.
It's so nice. Yes.
Huge. One of the biggest, problems sometimes you hear is the bar was packed. That just can't be a thing with ours because it's just too large. It's at least 35 feet long.
No, it is. It's very nice.
Yeah, and it borders also outside terraces that are covered where guests can still continue to go outside, have a cigar. I mean, it's just, there's so many little nooks and crannies to discover. There's a wine cellar from the early 2000s.
Where's that?
That's over in our overflow cocktail hour area.
What? I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
the
All right,
book
maybe
room.
I'll get that in the tour.
There's more members,
Like, where's that
absolutely.
at?
We've had clients hire cigar rollers to be stationed in there, setting up the cigars for the guys, and they go out to the fireplace terrace and enjoy them. I mean, it's
And
just-
then there's I call it the bird cage. I don't know what
Yeah,
you guys
that's
call it.
exactly-
Is that what it
yeah,
is?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so on the left side of the venue, there's this. I don't remember, it's like it looks like a bird cage. So I've done a few photos there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And if the sun sets just right, it's beautiful. I can't even describe it, but you guys will see it soon. So
It's like something out of Italy. It really
Yeah,
is.
it
It's like
is.
going to Europe, but being right here in Florida. So
basically, and you're right. There is a lot of places. So on Friday, I did a wedding, and it, unfortunately was, Florida weather. You don't know it's going to rain for 10 minutes, which it just did, and then now it's beautiful and sunny. So the same thing happened on Friday. So we did move the wedding inside, and there was no issues. Like, did the wedding inside, stop raining, and I was able to do the couple and the family shots outside in the terrace and walk around the venue. So there's a lot of options.
yeah, that's Florida. For
Yeah.
you. Yep.
So, and then we have a new venue that you guys are introducing into,
Yep.
more possibilities for, brides and grooms. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we have, we are Kravis Events by Lessings at the Kravis Center. So the Kravis Center, if most people know, it's a staple of West Palm Beach.
Yes,
It's
it is.
been
In
there
the
for
heart
30
of
years.
Florida, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in the heart of West Palm Beach.
Yep, it's been there for 30 years. We were lucky enough to take the food and beverage operation over last summer. And so now we've been operating that. And, we did inherit a lot of the clientele. The Kravis Center in general is very, because it is in the heart and it's right outside of Palm Beach, there's a lot of existing clientele that does, the charity nonprofit, all their events there. And then, we are trying to bring in more social business. And it's funny because speaking with a lot of planners that we already work with, a lot of planners don't realize, and just in general, a lot of people don't realize that you can do events there. I think a lot of people think of Kravis Center and they think of just the
theater.
theater.
And, yeah.
They didn't realize that there was a ballroom there.
No, when you said there were, you're doing like weddings and stuff, I'm like,
Yep.
you are? Okay.
Yep.
Something new.
The ballroom is just under 11,000 square feet. The foyer itself is about, I think, 6,000 square feet. And it's literally the perfect location to do, especially like the Indian weddings, like the Jewish weddings that have the need for a large space. Obviously, you can do any size because you can section off the ballroom, and do different air walls or draping to make it a smaller venue. But we actually do have 2 weddings. We have one on the 17th and 24th, and both of them are like one's I think 130 and the other one's 200. They're using the full ballroom, so you. Having a nice big stage, having a nice big dance floor, and still putting your tables around, you don't need to use the air wall. You can have the full ballroom, but knowing that you have the ability to do a wedding to, probably with a dance floor, I would say up to about 500 or 100.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great space, and with all the hotels around, and then even the one thing I am excited about, especially for like the Indian weddings, knowing that there's a big population up in Orlando. With the Brightline being able to connect to
I didn't even think of
Orlando
that.
now.
Yeah.
Having everyone come down, you have the hotels right there, and then you have the Kravis Center. You can do the 2-3 day Indian events.
And you have, the fun clematis, that you guys can hit after as well. But everything is right there in the center of, downtown West Palm, which is awesome. Now, you mentioned the Kravis Center can hold as many people as you said, 500 to 600. Mm-hmm. What does the Crane hold as far as guests in the ballroom?
250 to 300 easy.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say it's a pretty large size as well.
Definitely.
What about did you mention the Pelican?
Same thing with Pelican. Pelican can probably, I think, with the wedding, thinking like dance floor and stage. Leaving that, it's probably, I think the max they did was 300. So we're probably comfortable in the 250 range as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you do a couple of nonprofit organizations. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do with that?
Yeah. So Lessings, as a company, we're really into giving back to the community. I mean, it is a family-owned business. It's they've been in business for 132 years now.
That's a long time.
And still family-owned and operated, 6th generation.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty amazing. And so they're really about giving back and really, and I will say actually going to jump back a little bit, to coming from a corporate background and then working for them, especially during the COVID times, they were so great to work with. And we got so much great feedback on how, essentially I think they ended up giving back $6 million in deposits.
Wow.
Through all the companies,
Wow.
or with all the venues. So that's another thing to point out. As 21 or 22 catering venues, including everything up in New York. But they, we do everything: franchises, restaurants, food service halls, everything. But so they're a great company in that sense. But they have like a do good initiative. Down here in South Florida, we do a lot of beach cleanups. We do a lot of volunteering with that. We work with Living Hungry. Especially during the Thanksgiving timeframe, we've done some, they'll actually ship pallets of these pre-made boxes down, and we'll, us from all the different venues and our restaurants next door at Love Street, we'll all go over and help distribute these boxes to the local sheriff's office.
Nice.
Yeah, so
that's super sweet.
yeah.
That they do that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of companies that probably, aren't that caring, I guess you could say, but that's nice that it's family owned and that they, do things like that for the community is very important, I think.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you would suggest? So if I was a bride and I was coming to your venues to prep me to come to your venue, is there anything that you suggest?
Well, for new inquiries, there's a lot of information out there. It's information overload. Yeah. So my suggestion would be to narrow down to your top 3 to 5. Just like when you go house hunting, you see too many.
Yeah, it gets a little overwhelming. Yeah, I've gotten that from a lot of my brides. They're overwhelmed. I think the biggest thing, besides after getting your photographers and all that stuff, everything could be overwhelming, but I think the venues, pricing, location, you want everything to be perfect. So I agree. Maybe tone it down to your top 4 or 5.
We have such a great resource now with the internet to be able to narrow it down by knowing the costs in advance. When I started in this industry, it was a time when you had to come into every venue to get costs. They wouldn't, disclose online. And now you can get all the information in ahead of time. So, just try to do as much research as you can to avoid having to, waste every weekend, because just doing the venue hunt, then the photographer hunt, and the video.
It's a lot,
hunt,
you get a little overwhelmed, which
yeah.
I guess is good. If I'm going to be putting these videos out, so if you're looking for a venue, we're going to do a walkthrough, and you'll see, if you see the Crane Club, you might like it, and see the Pelican or the Kravis, and that'll narrow it down and be like, oh, I don't really like this one, I like this one. So if you want to go visit that one, you kind of have an idea, and then now you met the girls, so super nice girls too, there you go.
One thing I just do want to say is what I think makes Lessings unique is a lot of the venues in Florida are piecemeal, meaning you have to bring in your own caterer, find a staff, hire a planner, all that stuff. X, Y, and Z of moving components. What we do is we make it as seamless as possible by providing the catering. Our company is really built on the reputation for good food service. That's what it's all about when you're picking your venue. You want to make sure the food and the music, they say, that's what's going to make
the music,
it. And that's what your guests are going to remember. And there's a reason why our company expands and grows at the rate it does, is because we have a good reputation for what we deliver and the product we put out. That's first and foremost.
I actually I went to a chamber breakfast, and I actually sat next to a father of one of your brides.
Oh, yeah?
For 2024, and he was like, oh, we just booked the Crane Club. And I was like, oh, how amazing. And he actually, the one thing he said to me, he's like, he said it was actually his daughter, she'd gotten engaged, and he said, like, the weekend she got engaged, she immediately was like, within less than 12 hours, was like, all right, we got to go find venues. And he said that they searched everywhere, and Crane was one of the last places they searched. And he said the one thing that they loved was how inclusive it was. And what Maureen is saying is so true. We get that a lot with Pelican too, because it really is, it's kind of like all in one.
It is, everything's on there. And I've taken check on that as well. I actually did the first wedding at the Crane Club, and I have to say I was very nervous, because I'm like, so it's the first one, all eyes on me, but everybody was so nice and so sweet, and the staff was amazing, which is important as a vendor. I've worked at places where sometimes we're not treated very well. We're all there to create a good day for the bride and groom. So if we all work as a team, it just flows nice. So that's very important to me, to have a good communication with you guys, and good personalities, and everybody kind of mixed together. So, how do you guys go about choosing your vendors?
I think kind of like what you were even saying, just having people that work with us the best, even the fact that, with Crane being new, and you were already connected with us, and you were there and you shot the first wedding, and then you've helped us out other times. I think it's all about relationships.
It definitely is, yeah.
And I think the more that we, you have a lot of people, whether you're a florist or entertainment or photography, we're reached out to a lot to get on our vendor list. And, I would love to have everybody, I want to help everybody, but it's all about, we need to know who you are. We need to see your work, and so once we experience that relationship or that event with that vendor, then we can kind of see. So it's almost like the vendors have to do a little bit of legwork on their end first, and then once you start building that relationship.
Well, I agree too. And like I said, personalities and stuff, and obviously quality of work is important as well. So I guess as you start working with these vendors, you kind of start knowing like what you want to bring into these venues, because you want the best of the best for your venues. Is there anything else that you want to point out to any of the three venues?
Yes, actually, there's one thing I almost forgot to point out.
Go for it.
With Pelican Club. So another exciting, it's another venue that we have that we're selling at Pelican Club is the Honey Fits.
I was going to ask about that. And we were talking, and then I was like, I've heard something, but I wasn't sure if that was true or if it even happened or not. But yes, please tell me.
So the Honey Fits is JFK's presidential yacht. It was his yacht. It's 92 years old, I think, and it's a 93-foot wooden yacht that they had restored. Okay. So Charlie Modica is the owner. He is a passion of his with boats, and so he purchased it many years ago and has been restoring it for many years. And it is finally ready. It is the home base is on our dock at Pelican Club.
Nice. So it's there now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go check this out.
Yep. So it's amazing because we have charter packages that we'll be selling to take, it's max 35 people.
So more like for a
reception
rehearsal
style.
kind of thing?
Yeah, a lot of, you can do a
That'd be
rehearsal.
so cool.
And then a lot of our brides, there's a lot of history buffs out there, and there are a lot of brides and grooms that are interested in taking photos on the boat. So we do have packages as well to be able to have the opportunity to take photos on the boat as well.
Nice.
So that's a nice added feature to the Pelican Club, and it's located on our dock, as I mentioned, and it's not blocking the lighthouse. So you still you now have this amazing water view, lighthouse view, and this beautiful presidential yacht.
So on the day of wedding, as a photographer, would I be accessed just to the bride and groom to be able to photograph on this, or not?
You can definitely
See how my brain's already working?
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
100%.
So
yes, it's not. We've now kind of included in our we do bridal homework that helps the process as well, and the bridal homework asks questions and things like that. So it's included in there if they wanted to take photos on the boat. If you're taking it on the boat, there would be a fee.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop you from taking photos with it in the background. Yeah, because it's right there on the dock.
But they could rent it, like you said, for a fee
Yeah.
to use it on the day of wedding if
Yep.
wanted to.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
It's an amazing.
That's something
yeah,
cool.
It's an amazing feature.
I'm down for it. So if you hire me, make sure that you're just kidding, because that is that is unique. So I want to ask you: is there any unique events, weddings, or anything that stood out, themes, or anything that you guys have handled?
Well, I love Disney weddings. I love Disney. I almost got married at Disney. That
Really?
I saw how much it cost.
Oh yeah, that would probably be just a little expensive.
And that
It
was
is
like
beautiful and it is
15 years ago.
magical.
Yeah.
One of my, I say dreams or wanted on my checklist is to actually do a photo shoot by the castle, because I've seen some like the quince girls go there, or the wedding bride and groom kind of thing, and I think that would be really magical.
Yeah.
So it's on my to-do list. So hit me up if you guys need that.
There you go. Yeah.
So you've actually done one
Yeah.
at the Crane Club?
We've done a couple. We have a Beauty and the Beast one coming up in September. Very
That's
excited
so
about
cool.
that.
Yeah.
But in New York, I've had all different ties to clients' favorite weddings or hidden Mickeys around the room, and I've had meetings.
Wait, did you just say hidden Mickeys? So what, like people have to find them during that's
Well, that's kind of like the Disney people know, like there's hidden Mickeys in Disney World and Disney hotels. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Etsy sells even these like little rhinestones in the shape of Mickey ears that people put into their bouquets, and just putting little touches
Cute.
all around the room. And those who are into it will usually get it and pick up on it pretty quick.
Yeah, I would
but-
not.
Yeah.
But now I do.
Yeah.
So
Even like signature drinks, I had the genie teeny ones, which was like in the color of Genie from Aladdin. But
cute.
that's my happy place.
That's your happy place. I get it.
Yeah,
I
I
understand.
love
I mean,
that
it
when
makes
I
it
talk about
fun,
Disney
like
weddings.
something different. To change it up a little bit, just like myself, like just photographing, if I photograph at a different venue, which I'm very excited to hopefully eventually, photograph at the Kravis Center, because it's something new. So it's something different, and it just gets my mind going.
Yeah.
So I guess for you, it's the same thing, because you see the normal traditional weddings, and then something unique comes in, and you're like, oh, this is so cool.
It's a function of talking to your brides too and finding out what makes them unique. Because every wedding can be cookie cutter, but I mean, you have to have that. You have to get them to open up, to
Yeah.
explore what makes
What
them
they
tick
really
to,
want.
to really bring it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
full
got to be
circle.
something that you really have to look at and kind of find what they really
Talk to them.
love.
I gotta listen to people.
You got to listen to
You
people.
gotta hear, where'd they meet? I always ask, how'd you meet?
I do too.
love hearing
I
those.
literally,
I
I
love
do
hearing
too,
those
because I'm
stories.
photographing them, and I just like to know, like, how'd you meet? How many years have you been together, or how did he propose? Like, I like to know all that stuff and the unique stories. And what I've noticed in the past couple of years that I've been photographing, a lot of people meet online. It's so crazy how like now it's like, oh, on Bumble, oh, on this and that, and I'm like, really? So I'm a little more old school. I like meeting people just randomly, but hey,
Yeah.
obviously it's working.
Yeah.
And it's funny
gives-
because
gives me
20 years ago, people wouldn't tell you that. It was like
Exactly.
a thing of
It's taboo.
shame to talk about it, but now
Now
it's super common.
It's no,
8
it
out
is
of 10.
definitely.
Yeah.
At least. Yep.
100%. What about you, Michele? Anything that you've
Um,
seen that's unique or
Gosh.
different?
I feel it. I mean, I know there's got to be some stories there. But I mean, if anything, if I go back to just some fun stuff, I mean, in California, we actually, at the hotel I was at, we did the wedding for one of the Real Housewives.
Oh, cool.
And they actually put the, her, not runway, but her aisle on the pool. Like, so she
Wow.
walked on water. That
Cool.
was her dream. She wanted
Walk
to walk
on
on
water.
water.
Okay.
So we had that done. So that was pretty fun to be able to see, and also because they're filming, so it's
Yeah.
kind of fun to see all the behind the scenes. But it was actually her real wedding. I mean, she really, it is on TV,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it really was. She was in love and happy, and it was kind of cool to see that take place.
Nice.
So yeah, and then another one I would say is an Indian wedding because they had an elephant for the bride.
I was gonna ask because I've yet to photograph one of these, and I'm very excited to hopefully down the line do that. But that's got to be so cool.
Yeah, and
to watch. And
it
see.
was really cool. And they, the elephant handlers, I guess, the people who own the elephant, it was actually, I think her name was Tia, and it was the elephant that's on the commercial for the pistachios.
Oh,
It
okay.
was that same elephant. And
So it's famous.
yes,
Famous elephant.
Famous elephant.
Cool.
And I got to take my picture with her. So
Nice.
I was very excited.
Is that your one celebrity you've taken photos?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So now we're going to tap into like the opposite of the fun stuff. Have you ever dealt with something that was just a little hard to deal with? And I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys handled it, but anything that, or hard bride, that just mother of the bride was a little difficult. But, again, it goes down to personality and how to treat somebody. And I knew how to handle her. So it all worked out. At the end of the night, she thanked me and she was so happy. So it was just about learning how to deal with people in different ways.
Yeah.
But have you dealt with? I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yes, we definitely have.
Yeah.
I think what you said is true. It's really just listening to them, because a lot of times if they might be upset because they're nervous, or maybe because there's some family drama.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times what goes on, and
That
so
too.
it's like just being able to listen to them and understand like what their concerns are, and then trying to calm them down or appease them, like make them do whatever you can to make them happy. And sometimes you have to like even just outright say, this is a special day, like let's just focus on today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so in a
Yeah, I
sense.
thought about it after, like I handled it correctly, but I felt like I could have said a little more, but sometimes less is more kind of thing. But I was there for my bride, and that's who I really, not that the moms are not important by any means, that's not what I'm saying, but I was there for my bride, and I wanted to do the best for her. And the mom being a little difficult kind of made it a little difficult for me to do that for my bride. But at the end of the day, I still did it, and
Yeah.
we still got the pictures, and everybody was happy, but it's
Exactly.
just a way of handling things. So brides and moms and everybody, just, relax, stay up. Like, we're professionals, I'm professional, I know how to do my stuff, so just trust us.
And we
because that's
care.
what we do, and we care.
Yeah.
We do care, and we want everything to go smoothly. So, if we say something like, listen to what we're saying, because we really do know what's best for you.
Yeah, because we that's what we do for a living, and we really are. We have everyone's
And we
best
do
interest.
so many weddings. We deal with so many different personalities and everything. So, these girls have been doing this for a long time, which I didn't, realize how long you've
Yeah.
been in there. So, yeah. Anything else that you guys want to, maybe tell the brides and grooms?
One thing I say, because getting all the formalities out of the way as soon as you can, because for that sake of enjoying your night, because it does
Exactly.
go by so fast.
Yeah.
So with your timeline, which at our venues we help get the timeline. So let's get all the formalities done.
Mm-hmm.
But I also say do the first look, because the first look I think then helps with getting more photos done in advance.
If you want more photos, definitely a first look, because so many reasons. One, you get more photos because you're doing before, and I always take you out later for sunset photos, so you'll get a little more after that. It's less stressful. Everything's kind of done before, and you can possibly enjoy a little bit of cocktail,
Exactly.
Which is also nice. You want to mingle with your guests, and just kind of it's more like at ease than cramming everything into 1 hour it's a lot,
Yeah.
And if you're a bride that's already stressing, try the first look. It's actually really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Now, do you guys have like in-house planners, or do you have people that come?
So we have our operations managers. So they're there to be, helping,
Helpful.
for the entire day, but they're not planners in the
Planners.
sense, because, there's definitely things that planners do. Obviously we're there, we're going to help, put out your place cards if you don't have a planner, but if we're not going to be your main,
The main
planner
person.
that's going to like work with you,
The whole
outside.
day,
Yeah,
in
exactly.
and out of the whole
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
So,
I always, like I mentioned on my last podcast, I always like to create my own photography timeline.
Yep.
And especially if there is no planner, I like to, have them see
Yeah.
what is going on. So that's important to me. And if they even have a planner, I still do my own timeline for
Yeah.
myself.
and then we like
and for
to,
them.
and we like to get that, and then we kind of incorporate that into our
Into
timeline,
it, yeah.
so that we can make sure the entire day flows well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I just sent it to one of your girls
Yeah.
the other day for the Friday wedding because I did my own timeline. I sent it to her, and so she knew what I was doing through the whole day, and it works out perfectly. So that's very important. So yeah, I really enjoyed having you guys
Yeah,
here. It's been
awesome.
fun.
Thank you.
So we will see you guys at the next episode. I think my next one will be a wedding planner, which is so exciting. So we were just talking about how important wedding planning, planners are. So tune into that one coming up